so we're getting ready to get into a play-by-play. I do want to say before I get into this, please go ahead and go over to TashaKLive.com and spend the $12 so that you can see this interview in its entirety. If you are not looking at this video, looking at Sonya, looking at her expressions and just seeing how this whole thing played out, you are definitely missing something special. So go ahead and head over to Tasha K Live so that you can purchase the subscription and watch this in its fullness. But for right now, we're going to get into the play-by-play. All right. So we're at the point in the interview where Ernest comes in. And he's called the first time. They weren't able to connect, so he called again. Tasha K has asked Sonya about the intimate part of their relationship. Sonya has denied it. Or basically she's like, oh, I know what friend means for a woman of a certain age. If you're not married to the man, you say that's my friend. And Sonya gave a little smirk and she said, if I was messing with him, I would just say I'm messing with him. Okay. And we all know, obviously, that's the farthest thing from the truth, Sonya, because that's the last thing that you're willing to say. But okay. So Tasha K is asking Ernest, what's going on with this relationship here between you and Sonya? But she didn't ask straight out. So Ernest says, I'm just listening. So Ernest says, I'm going to let it be known what the truth is in due time. And the truth is that's an innocent woman sitting beside you. See, now if I was anybody, having to do with this case, his actual criminal things, I think this is such a bad look here because it's the same thing that he's been saying. He's an innocent man. He's an innocent man. And when you listen to this man who says he's an innocent man tell us that Sonya's an innocent woman right there, and we know that she's lying about what she's being accused of. I mean, I'm sure she is innocent of something, right? But about what she is saying that she's not, and her phone calls are saying that she is, what she and he talked about says what she is, but she's still alleging and proclaiming that she's not. And when he says she's an innocent woman sitting right there, it's like, sir, how can we believe you when you say that you're innocent of these charges, when you're willing to sit up there and say that she's innocent of what she's being accused of, which is being your mistress, and you know full well that she's your mistress? Me, oh my. Okay. Let's see what he's going to say next. So then he rolls into talking about how he's an innocent man and trying to enlist Tasha K to agree with him, and which is something that he does quite frequently. He says something and then tries to get you to agree. I notice he does that all the time. So he asks her, don't you know that's right, Miss Tasha K? And she doesn't agree. She gives him some other statement. And I think this type of thing is what's going to eventually get him like very irritated as this interview goes on. Okay, let's get back into it. I'm going to try not to stop so frequently, but this thing is just full of gems. So Ernest starts going into this tangent about wanting Tasha K to look deep because she's trying to get him to answer a question. And she mentions that, she's listened to some of the phone calls, now that this mistress has come into play, she's trying to get them to give her the answer. And she's saying, I have not been able to look that deep into what you guys have going on. That's why you're here, so I can get the story. And then, so after what she says, then he starts telling her, so I want you to look real deep now. You're going to have to look real deep. And when you look real deep, you're going to find the answer. Woo! I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. That's Ernesto. He's a hustler. Oh, Lord Jesus. This man done went to start talking about the system. She's asking you about Sonya. How you going to start talking about how the system is rigged? And you know how this system is rigged. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And that's why I say you have to go over to TashaKLive.com and look at this interview, because Tasha is looking. If Tasha don't look confused and mixed up, like, did I say? She's got her hand up like, huh? Did I? What? We're not even talking about your crime right now. We're talking about Sonya. What are you? Oh, my goodness. Let's keep going. This man done start talking about innocent black men sitting up in prison. And then he starts cussing. And see, so to me, the cussing is, I'm getting angry. I'm going to put some extra sauce on top, because we are not going to answer this question. We're not going to keep going over this, what you want to talk about. We are talking about what I want to talk about. And I am not answering your question. So here comes, oh, wow. I'm so glad I looked back at this. I'm so glad. So even though Tasha's not even asking him about his crimes, right? She's not even asked him about his crimes. He started going all off into how innocent he is, and how many innocent people are in jail and all this stuff right here. So Tasha's like, okay, since he wants to go this direction, she just is, fluidly trying to move with him. So she gets her phone and she says, I guess in her mind, she's thinking, okay, if you want to talk about the charges, let's go on and talk. And then Sonya, sitting across the table, is like, oh, no. We can't talk about his charges, his defense. So it's like, what? Did y'all come here to tie my hands and just, open my ears and make me do nothing but listen to y'all? Like, what type of interview do y'all think this is? This is a travesty. This is a travesty. This man started going off into how long he's been sitting in jail with no bond and all this type of stuff. And telling Tasha K that she ought to be able to see what's going on. You so smart, you can't see what's going on. This is just totally like all over the place. But you're there with them trying to make some sense out of the nonsense. And most people are too civilized to just in the middle of everything. I did not ask you that. We are not talking about, this is what we're talking about. Like she's just too civil. Even, she's too civilized for that. So she's trying to go along with him. But then even as she's going along with him and trying to follow him through this maze that's supposed to be her interview, he's got her down this road trying to beat up on the top of her head, telling her, don't you know that? You should be smart enough to know that. Now he's using her, who she is and what she is against her. This dude right here, this is some, and like I say, this is not smart. This is not cute. Nobody is, fooled or impressed by this, but it's something about somebody who will do this to you that is just, I don't know. I feel like it's something that you have to be in the middle of this sort of like windstorm to understand how it feels to be inside of it. So let's see how Tasha K is going to do with this. She asked him about the charges and where the picture charges came from. And even though he's the one that led her down this road, he's told her, come on, man, you know I can't talk about these charges. Ernesto, let's put it like this. Ernesto ought to be ashamed of himself. I know he's not, but he sure ought to. This man is telling her she needs to read the warrant. And does that make sense to her? And she needs to make it make sense. This is abusive. In my opinion, this is so abusive. You get on the phone on an interview. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to have a little snack. You get on the phone on an interview, and then everything someone asks you, you can't answer it. But yet you're badgering them, telling them to answer your questions, but you won't answer anything. Then you say you can't answer anything. And basically you're telling them, figure it out. This is really something. Wow. Meanwhile, Sonya is up here whispering to Tasha K, trying to be the go-between to help Tasha K understand what's going on. And I'm looking at Tasha K's expression. And she just looks like, I'm just too outdone. Like she can't even believe what's happening here. Ernesto is telling her now, if a MFer knows how to read, they could figure it out themselves. So at this point, it's very offensive. And I feel like Ernest is doing what he always does. Kind of like try to, I don't know, put you in the position to make the pain want to stop. I don't think Tasha K knows him well enough to sort of care what he's doing. But at the same time, it is an abuse tactic. In my opinion, he's using his words and the inflection in his voice and the cuss words to kind of beat down upon her. Mentally and verbally and everything, subliminally calling her a MFer. Like he's saying, if a MFer, but you're talking to me, like I'm the one that you're telling that I should have all this information about you and your case, when I don't even think that that's really what the interview is about. The interview is more geared toward him and Sonia's relationship, but he's implying that she should have read up on all of his cases and understand what's going on with all the warrants and be able to see all the discrepancies before he ever even came on the phone, which she didn't even know he was going to be on the phone. So how was all this supposed to have been done? Well, it wasn't. But this is like Ernesto tactic. This is his tactical way of doing things. He beats down upon people when it's time for him to use that tactic. And all you'll want is for that treatment to stop. And so, like I said, I don't know if Tasha K knows him or cares enough for this to work on her, but I see it as a tactic. And then Sonya over here just looking like the dutiful little airhead, believing everything he's saying and amen and everything he's saying and explaining everything he's saying. And it's just a train wreck, child, a train wreck. This man, Tasha K asked him what about the conspiracy? Since you can't talk about anything, can you tell me anything about the conspiracy charge? This man said, well, first of all, I don't do crimes with people. I didn't even know that I had anything with regard to conspiracy. And because I don't even do crimes with people. Not that I don't do crimes, not that I haven't done anything wrong. I don't do crimes with people. I don't like people. And I stay to myself. Let's move forward. And y'all, this is why you have to see this video. Tasha K looks like, wow. She definitely looks like how I believe he wants her to feel. Everything Tasha K asks him, Sonya has an answer. As if Ernesto's answer is not good enough. And whatever he says, she needs to come in and say in her way and reiterate. This was the weirdest thing. Not the weirdest, but this is definitely up there with one of the most diabolical situations I've seen in real time. Tasha K asked him, how were things between him and his wife before he went to jail? He said things were wonderful with me and my wife before I went to jail. There was no stress, no problems, nothing. And Sonya is sitting over here giving this man the amen, the thumbs up, the yes, that's right. That sure is right. What is she doing? What on earth is she doing? What is she trying to prove? Let's go. Y'all, Sonya this is crazy. She's nodding her head and amen and everything that he's saying, even when he's talking about how he communicated with his wife when he went to jail. I mean, this is really something because she was not there. She doesn't know. And even if she does know, I think she's saying something about it was like in a police report or something like that. Even if you know, like, why are you sitting here answering his questions for him? What on earth is going on? What on earth? Oh my goodness. Okay, so back to Sonya being a mistress. Ernest says that she's not a mistress. She's not a side B. She cares about him. She's trying to save his life. That's why she's there. And also when it comes to another podcaster or YouTuber that had something to say about him, he is not, absolutely 100% is not gay. And he wants to let that be known as well. He said that community is not his community. It doesn't have anything to do with him. And he is not a part of that community. He wants to make sure that he says that because he's saying it over and over. And then he rolls into he doesn't have the things involving the children. He doesn't do any of that either. He said he's an innocent man. He didn't say he's only an innocent man. He said he's an innocent MFing man. He goes on to ask Tasha K, does she believe in God? And then I believe he's about to say, well, let me see, how's he going to put it? Oh, wow. He sounds so much like a pimp. I'm sorry. Like from TV, because God knows I don't know any. He's telling Tasha K that he's here to do a job. he doesn't care whether Steve Harvey likes her or not. She's here to do her MFing job, and that's what he wants to see her do. So Tasha K gets to ease another question in here. She gets to ease another question in here edgewise, and she asks him, okay, well, like, I've heard that, Sonya talks about her lingerie and everything with you. Like, is that something that you normally talk with your friends about? And so he just doubles down on the fact that, like, I told you I'm not gay. If she wants to talk to me about a negligee to keep my mind off of what's going on in here and my issues and troubles, then, that's what she's supposed to do. Yeah, okay. I hear you. And then Tasha K says, well, there's been, some question about why you speak with her so intimately and not with your wife. And he's going into talking about how that's not how she is, basically. That's just the basic roundabout, what he's saying in a roundabout way. I protected my wife's interest. My wife is not that way. I have to deal with my wife like I know her to be, and that's what that is. Oh my goodness. So again, Tasha K gets in here with the question of what happened to your marriage license, because it looks like you never actually turned your marriage license in and had it filed. And our Nesto is saying, to the best of my knowledge, we are married. And Tasha K is saying, no, it doesn't appear that you are. And then Ernesto is saying, I don't want to say anything else about my wife. We're not going to do that. We're not going to say anything. I'm not going to talk about that at all. Yeah, I don't know what I think about this part, because I think by now he should have expected that question. There's been so much circulating about that issue. He should have expected that. And maybe had a better answer. I think maybe I don't know, expecting too much out of him. It just seems like he would have had a better answer for that by now. Yeah, so let's get back into it. That was the marriage question, and another question she hit him with. And then this is also where he tells her he's gangster. I just don't understand, like, what are these terminologies? What's the meaning of them? If you're not a criminal, if you didn't do any criminal acts, then what is all this gangster stuff about? What does that mean? If you're not a criminal and you haven't done any criminal acts, and you want people to think you're completely innocent, but then you'll turn around within a 5-minute window and talk about how gangster you are. Like, what does that mean? Because it sounds like you're a criminal. And this is just disgusting how giddy and overly impressed with Ernesto Sonya is. This is quite disgusting and disturbing. It really is. I'm sorry. I'm just grossed out every time she looks so happy about him and proud of him and impressed by what he's saying. It's disgusting, because nothing that he's saying and doing is impressive at all. And it's just, it's nasty. It's disturbing. So so they banter back and forth, a little bit. And it's a little fun. It's not too serious what they're talking about. And then Tasha K tries to zero back in on the, I'm a wife and I've been married for X amount of years, and I just don't know how, or I just know that I would not take too kindly to my husband having some friend that keeps his mind off of things because he's in jail. And Ernest sits there and says, let me just tell you this. My wife ain't no MFing fool. She's very smart. She basically, I feel like he's trying to say that she knows what type of shenanigans that he has going on. And, that's good if that's the truth. But I just don't believe that Shirley knows. And I know it's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. So this is a reach right here. I'm really reaching. But I don't think Shirley knows that he has these relationships, these intimate relationships like this. I don't think he knows it. She knows it. He goes through too many twists and turns to keep her out of the know in order for me to believe that she's this liberal, slick person that, knows his goings-ons and she's okay with it. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. Not yet. So they get finished with Ernesto, get him off the phone, and Tasha K zeroes in again on whether they, are or not romantically involved. Have they been? Have they ever been? And Sonya says, it reminds me of Bill Clinton. I have not had relations with that woman. I have never had relations with that woman. And Sonya says, I have never, how did she just said it. Basically, she repeated after Tasha K. I've never had any type of intimacy. I'm saying that, to help with the channel. But basically, she says, I've never had any type of intimacy with Shirley Strawberry's husband. She repeats it after Tasha K. And it's just like, girl, Bill Clinton. Lies, lies, lies. Sonya, William Clinton, Durham, Waller, Durham, whatever your name is. So let me say this. So right after she vehemently denies ever, being Ernest's mistress, Tasha K inserts a clip of one of the phone calls from prison calls where they are having a conversation about the time when they were definitely, absolutely intimate. And it's all right there in Ernesto and Sonya time. So why on earth she thought that she would just get away with saying no, never happened, no, never happened, no. I don't know why she thought that this call wouldn't be pulled. And there's probably like about 2 other calls at least, because now we know phone calls from prison has so many calls they might not even be able to get through them all. But we've heard this repeated, I'm going to say 2 to 3 times. So we've heard it. So it breaks in, and it's not really in the middle of their real-time interview, but she puts it here for the viewers. And so she's about to go back to the interview. I'm approaching up on an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and end this breakdown right here, and I will get back in and do the rest of the call a little bit later. But I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today and joining me. Thank you for watching this far. If you're still here and you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Also like the video, make comments. I love to read your comments, and share the video. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Bye.